Jason Carter, the CEO of a popular American restaurant chain called Flavor Haven, had built his business from a small food truck into more than 70 locations across the country. People admired his success, but lately something didn't feel right. Employees seemed distant, and customers weren't as enthusiastic as before. Jason couldn't help but wonder if there was a disconnect between him and the people working for him. So, he decided to go undercover, not as a big boss, but as an ordinary customer. He wore casual clothes, jeans, a hoodie, and a cap to hide his face. One afternoon, he walked into one of his own restaurants and quietly joined the line. No one recognized him. He ordered his favorite meal, buffalo chicken with extra ranch, and stepped aside to wait. As he stood there, he overheard a conversation between two teenage boys behind him. One of them whispered, "I heard the owner of this place is super strict and stingy. Like, no refunds, no discounts, nothing." The other boy replied, "That's not what I heard. My cousin works here. He says the owner's actually a really kind guy, but he only shows that side when no one's watching." Jason froze for a second. He hadn't expected that. Strict and stingy? Quietly kind? It surprised him to hear how people viewed him, and it made him think. As he drove back to his office, he couldn't stop replaying their words. Maybe this wasn't just two kids talking. Maybe this was how many of his employees felt. He wondered if his good intentions had gone unnoticed. Over the years, he had helped staff during hard times, paid for someone's medical bills, helped with rent, or offered quiet support. But if no one knew about these acts, what difference did they make? That same evening, Jason called Melissa, his HR director. He asked her to gather real feedback from employees, anonymously and without filters. Melissa was surprised. "Are you sure, Jason?" she asked. "You might hear things you won't like." But Jason nodded. "I need to know," he replied. A few days later, Melissa returned with a thick report. Jason read every word. The feedback was honest and painful. Many staff saw him as a distant figure who only cared about numbers. Some mentioned he seemed strict or unapproachable. A few remembered kind things he had done, but most didn't know about them at all. Jason realized something important. He had been trying to do good behind the scenes, but maybe that wasn't enough. If people didn't feel his care, then it might as well not exist. From that moment, he decided to change. Not his values, but how he showed them. He started visiting different restaurants personally, not to check up on people, but to listen. He held monthly town hall meetings where any employee could speak up and share ideas. He launched a new program called Team Shoutout Tuesdays to recognize and reward good work and kind gestures among staff. He also began working alongside his employees, sometimes in the kitchen, sometimes helping out with cleaning or greeting customers. At first, everyone was shocked. Then they started smiling. Then they started talking. Word spread through the company. Employees felt seen and heard. They started sharing stories of Jason helping out, not as a CEO, but as a teammate. Customers began noticing the change, too. The energy inside Flavor Haven locations improved. Staff were more cheerful, service got better, and reviews became more positive. Jason's image slowly transformed. He was no longer seen as a cold businessman. He became known as someone who truly cared. Social media posts began popping up from employees talking about, "That one time Jason helped me on the line," or "how he remembered my daughter's name." He didn't have to tell people he cared anymore. They could feel it. Months later, Jason returned to the same restaurant where he had overheard the two boys. This time, he didn't wear a cap or hide his face. Everyone knew who he was. As he stood in line again, he heard a familiar voice behind him. One of the boys from that day, now a little older, said to his friend, "Hey, that's the guy I was telling you about. The owner. He's cool. Works here sometimes, like a regular dude." Jason smiled to himself. That small comment meant more than any business award ever could. It meant that the change he made was real, and it had reached people. This story reminds us all that leadership isn't just about numbers or titles. It's about how you treat the people around you. Sometimes, the most powerful thing you can do is show up, listen, and let others see who you truly are. And sometimes, all it takes is one unexpected conversation to start a change that touches hundreds of lives.